Alright, so I'm pretty bored today. Thought I'd do a video showing whoever watches this how you can take some pretty awesome product photos in your house for like super cheap. So let's get started. Alright, so first thing you're gonna need is colored backdrops. So like, I don't know, these are A3. If you can get A2 or A1 or even bigger from Amazon, then go for it. These were the biggest I could find. So I got pretty much all the colors, but I am particularly into the bright colors. So purples, yellows, blues, reds, which you can actually turn into pink and post, green, just very poppy colors, because you're going to want your product to pop a lot more, and they will when you have color backdrops like this, in my opinion. You want to get a product. I have here Chanel number 19 perfume. I think this is for women. This is my mother, so obviously it will be for women. This is pretty small because those are A3. They're not big backdrops, so I'll need something that's quite small that'll fit. Alright, so next up what you want is some sort of like window with like a desk. This is actually the perfect setup for it. You have like a light source coming from just one direction, and it's a cloudy day. That's my favorite type of lighting because it's just diffused, it's very soft, and it'll make for perfect pictures. So what you can see here is I have one piece of tape. So this piece of tape is on the wall and it's gonna hold the backdrop that's sitting upright, because paper, if you just put it up without any sellotape, it's gonna fall down. So make sure you have some tape. So for this picture, I'm gonna use two colors. So I'm gonna use one color that's like the backdrop that's sitting up, and then another color for the backdrop that's kind of down. So what you want to do in order to merge good colors, so in order to make it look aesthetically pleasing, you want to follow the color wheel, which is something that you would have probably learned when you're about 6 years old. So let me show you something. This is really cool, okay? So you're gonna go onto Google, and you're basically just gonna type in color wheel and just click on any of the ones that pop up. But basically the rule that you want to follow, you don't have to follow it like very specifically, but this helps a lot, this chart. So if you have a yellow, you want to kind of pair that up with a purple. If you have a blue, you want to pair that up with an orange. If you have red, you want to pair that up with green. If you have whatever color this is, you want to pair it up with that color. Sticking with this will give you the most aesthetically pleasing looking backdrop color scheme, blah blah blah. Okay, so I've got my two colors, yellow and purple. So all we're gonna do here is stick that up like so. Try and be gentle with it, as gentle as possible. And then we're going to just slip this. We'll just slip it on top. It doesn't really matter too much, to be honest, but you don't want to kind of have it all the way up here. I tend to leave it just as the yellow piece of paper is starting to kind of come to an end. So I'm pretty happy with that. So the reason why I have this paper going up portrait wise is because I'm going to be taking the photo as a portrait photo rather than a landscape photo, also because I actually don't have much space. So having it portrait wise, it'll give me that ability for the small product to actually look, I don't know, like it's in a bigger sort of area. The aim of the game here is to try and make the photo look as pro as possible, but you know, in our room basically. So I tend to like to have the piece of paper kind of portrait wise going up because I don't have much space, and also because I'm taking it portrait wise. So we're gonna get the product and we're gonna place it right in the center. We'll probably have to just change this a little bit when we're viewing the product from the front, but so far so good. So kit wise, I have got my Sony a7S Mark I with a Sigma 35 f1.4 lens. What I'm also going to do is I've got APS-C mode enabled. I quite like the cropped look rather than the full frame look. I find that if I'm taking a photo of this on full frame, it just looks a bit too warped for me, and I don't want that. So APS-C mode is enabled, and I'm also actually going to be taking this photo on f4 rather than f2.8 or 1.4. I just find that I don't want my product photos to look too shallow depth of field. I want it to just look very normal. So from what I can see here, f2.5 I'm going to enable. I'm actually going to stick to manual focus here. So it's at 1/100th of a shutter, ISO 160 at, actually no, sorry, So f4 ISO, I'm quite happy with ISO 320 at 1/100th of a second. So I've got manual focus enabled here because what I'm gonna do is, you can't really see it, but I have like focus assist on. So whenever I like try and focus, it actually zooms in so I can see really up close what everything looks like. So I can kind of get a really good sharp image before I take the photo. So I'm gonna focus like so, perfect. And now I'm just gonna flip like that, and then we're gonna go ahead and take the photo. That looks pretty awesome. Alrighty, let's go into editing. You guys didn't think I was gonna do that, but I wanna show you the whole thing. So first and foremost, we're gonna straighten the photo. It's a little bit wonky, which is fair enough. I think my desk is just not the straightest desk. But yeah, exposure, we're gonna bring that up. It's a little dark, and saturation, we have to bring the colors up. I tend to take my photos on a slightly flat picture profile, so I always have to adjust the saturation in post. Now we have two colors here, yellow and pink, so I'm gonna be focusing on those individual colors, see what I can just do with them. So yeah, with the yellow, I'm pretty happy with it. The pinks, I wanna bring the pinks up a little bit more. I say pink, it's purple, so I wanna make it a little bit more pink. Give it that pastel-y look. And then we're gonna go and sharpen the photo. Now, my Lightroom automatically sharpens my photos when I import them, so thank you very much, Lightroom. Don't need to play around with that. So I was just checking to see if it's how I wanted it to be, and it is. Curves, been playing around with curves quite a lot lately. I love playing with the highlights. Look at this. It just brightens that thing up more. With product photos, you definitely want a nice, kind of very polished sort of photo. You don't want to be too niche like with portraits and everything, you know? Portraits, landscapes, you can be as crazy and creative as you want, but I find with products, you want them to be, you know, just very normal looking. So we have a very nice kind of normal product picture now. There's not much else to do. I think little bits of tweaking just to see if there's anything that I can change to the photo, but I mean, I don't know, it seems like it's perfect the way it is. I'm pretty stoked with that. And I'll just go here and see if I can adjust the darks a little bit more, or the shadows, and yeah. My main aim with this video was to try and show people who don't really know how to do much post-production, who don't have a studio, who don't have much money, that you can take some pretty cool product photos on a very tight budget. Dude, this cost me about 12 quid, I think, to get all these pieces of paper. I think there's 59 pieces of paper in here, and each color has 4 or 5 sheets to them, so really not much to it. What I'd probably say is start practicing on small items, watches, perfumes, creams, those sort of stuff, even bracelets, you know, nice things like that. You can get quite creative with it as well. You don't always have to have it like sitting upright. You can actually take it from like up, looking down. So that's what I did with the watch, because I was having a very hard time trying to keep the watch upright like so. This is originally how I wanted the photo of the watch to look like, but I decided, you know what, I'll just take it from like a bird's eye view. And what I did to make it interesting was I merged two colors together. So I merged, I think it was blue and orange. I merged those together, and yeah, I just made it look really nice and fancy. I had a bracelet also. What I did with that bracelet was I managed to keep it upright, but I used Mr. Lego Man's little gun here, and what I did was I put the gun behind the bracelet, and it managed to just lean onto the gun, and it just stayed upright, and I managed to get a really cool photo. And what I did with that too was I wrapped an orange piece of paper around my camera flashlight box so that it kind of acted like a stand, you know, and it merged in with the colors too. So you can do little things like that to just make it look aesthetically pleasing, but also I don't know, just easy on yourself, because I don't like to do too much post-production. I'm not good at post. I'm terrible with Photoshop, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people who are just starting out won't really know how to use Photoshop to the extent that most of these product photographers or product photo editors know how to use their Photoshop. So the aim here is to try and get the best photo as easily as possible with minimal to no post-processing. So all I did with editing was brightened up the colors, and honestly that's pretty much it. I played around with the curves a little bit and brought the exposure up. Not really much to it. Obviously sharpened it a little bit more. You want to get a nice sharp photo because the aim of a product photo is so that people can see everything super concise. I wouldn't go too creative with your colors, like presets and all that. I wouldn't use that for product photos. If you get good lighting and just take a very well composed photo, it's gonna look sick. But yeah, that is it for me. I mean, I don't know, maybe my product photos suck, so let me know if I did anything wrong, but I like to think that I came out with a pretty good photo. Obviously throughout me talking, I've shown photos of the other stuff that I've taken, so remember to stick with that color wheel as well, maybe experiment a little bit, and that color wheel will honestly guide you and make sure you're kind of merging the colors properly, because one thing that would be really sucky is merging two very clashing colors. It just won't look nice. But yeah, that is it for me. Go take your product photos, and good luck.